Hey folks, today's story was submitted by viewer Paranoid Times. This was a true testament from a man I met many years ago at a family reunion, back when we had such things. The story was supposed to be passed from father to son, mother to daughter, and so on, but it got lost along the way. So I'd like to share the story of John and the resurrection stone. John was an old man, weathered by time and grief. He had lost his wife to the harsh winter, then his son to a cruel, cruel disease. The pain of their absence weighed heavy on his heart, dragging him deeper into a pit of despair with each passing day. The country doctor had insisted on burning his son's body to prevent the spread of smallpox, leaving John with nothing but ashes and bones to remember him by. John, he couldn't bear to let go. He couldn't accept that his son was truly gone. So, fueled by desperation and a glimmer of hope, he set out on a journey into the mountains of Grayson County in search of the legendary resurrection stone. The stories he had heard were whispered among the locals, tales of a stone as old as time itself, said to have the power to bring back the dead. John knew the risks and knew the price for such magic was steep, but he was willing to pay anything to see his son one more time. With the ashes and bones of his son in a hemp sack, John trekked through the rugged terrain until he found the stone. Looming tall and foreboding against the background of the mountains, he carved out the shape of a man and placed the remains inside and set to work as instructed. He fashioned 4 large copper rods and lit fires on all 4 corners of the stone, keeping them burning day and night. As the days passed, strange things began to happen. Shadows danced on the edges of his vision, whispers echoed through the trees, and a storm brewed in the sky. On the 9th day, as lightning struck the copper poles and the earth trembled beneath his feet, John cut his hand and sprinkled the blood on his son's ashes, uttering the words that sealed his fate. Half is half, hollow is hollow. And then, in the blinding flash of light, his son stood before him, whole and alive once more. But as John looked into his son's eyes, he saw something hollow and empty staring back at him. The price he had paid for his miracle was clear. Half of his life, half of his soul, now belonged to the mountain, to the old magic that had brought his son back from the dead. As they embraced, father and son reunited at last, John couldn't shake the feeling that he had unleashed something dark and ancient into the world. But in that moment of bittersweet reunion, he pushed aside his doubts and allowed himself to feel a flicker of relief, a sliver of hope that maybe, just maybe, they could find some semblance of peace in this twisted, haunted world. I like to say a special thank you to Paranoid Times for sharing this amazing story of John and his grief and the resurrection stone. This was a mighty special story that involves some old mountain magic. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, do me a favor and hit that like button. Leave me a comment and tell me what you thought. If you have a story that you'd like to share, leave it in the comment section, as Paranoid Times did, or you can personally email me at myerstalesofAppalachia@gmail.com. We'll do our best to get it in a video. We'll make sure that you know that we appreciate each and every story. Thank you for listening. Love yous to pieces, and we'll see you next time.